Hey, all right. Brad McLeod here, SoulGrinderPT.com. This is a quick message to one of my buddies out there. His name is Mason, and Mason just wanted to give you a message. I had this written up on my underground bunker in my gym, my garage, for the longest time, and basically just said that tough times don't last, but tough athletes do, tough people do. Tough warriors do. And I don't have any notes. I'm not a professional speaker. You probably figured that out pretty quick, but I just wanted to kind of come to you from the heart, from the gut, just let you know. I mean, I've been through, my fair share of hard times myself, and looking back on those times where I thought I was, say, at the bottom, maybe when I got kicked out of BUD/S, Navy SEAL training, had to pick myself up and go at it again. Those times, looking back later on in my life, I found that those times were really the best times. That's what actually, forged me forged my character for later on in life, when I really did meet up with some big tests. And so what I would just urge you to do now is to, dig down. It's hard, it's tough, but there's a lot of people out there that, say maybe have it worse than you. Met up with an athlete this past weekend, Brendan. He had really humbling to me. I got a little bit of a metal in my arm there, my wrist, and it just really struck home in that. I had thought that my wrist hurt earlier in the week, and I complained a little bit about it. And then I met Brendan, not knowing Brendan's condition, but Brendan was in the Afghanistan war, and he was the only survivor in the room when a suicide bomber exploded explosive vest, what have you. Brendan, of course, he lost vision in one eye, half in another eye, just, blew off whole chunks of his leg, and he was missing the very arm that I complained about hurting. Brendan was missing that, a big chunk of his arm, and, went through with 20X. I was very humbled to be a coach there. Long story short is that Brendan never complained. Brendan had a smile on his face. Brendan exemplified every bit of what I believe to be a warrior. You don't have to pick up an AR-15 and shoot bullets necessarily to be a warrior, in the sense that many of us, we fight daily battles. Many of us, it's hard in the daily grind to get up and just do the minimum. It's very hard for us, for many of us. And so to be able to be around an athlete like Brendan really just continue to hit home to me, is that for me, I want to never complain. I have all of my arms and legs, and have a brain, sometimes it's not working completely right, but just incredibly grateful. And out of that, when you are able to be grateful, realize how much that you do have going on in your life, in that moment, you can't have a negative thought. It's physiologically impossible for you to think a good thought and be grateful and actually turn around right in that same moment and think negative. So I urge you to be grateful of the things that are around you. Be grateful of, for me, it's my family. I'm so grateful for my family. They're, it's a cliche statement, but they are my rock. They're my foundation. They're the very reason why I do everything I do. And I'm so grateful for them. And so I would urge you, all of you out there, to find something in the day, whether it's, the sunshine that's up on my shoulder right here. I'm out in front of the lake right now. This is my lake view. I personally, I gain strength from nature. I don't want to sound all squishy like, nature boy or whatever, but there's something about the trees, the earth, the water, and the surf, being in high waves. There's an incredible amount of energy in that. And so for me, it's easy, you know, I reinforce it. It's not easy to say. I reinforce it in my own self to find those things around me to be grateful for. My family and for this nature that's here, you know, all of the animals, the hawk, whatever that's in the sky. And so I would encourage you, Mason, and all of our other listeners out there to look around you right now and even just take notes. Take notes on what is there. And our lives are so incredibly rich. What is it? One of my coaches, Coach Lance at SealFit says, you know, it could always be worse. It can always be worse. You could be, someone could be shooting at you. And for Coach Lance, of course, been in multiple war zones, that's something that rings true to him. And then right after that, he says, you know, it could always be worse. And then after he says, of course, you know, you could be shot at, he says, you know, you could be shot at and one of your buddies could have just taken a round. And then he pauses for a few minutes and then he says, it could always be worse. You could be the one taking the round, or an IED is going off, or in the case of Coach Lance, who was shot at by an RPG that landed, hit his Hummer that he was in. He drove off of the road. You know, all sorts of injuries, what have you. And so for Coach Lance, he tries to reinforce to other athletes, be grateful in the moment for what you have, because it could always be worse. Be grateful for the hand that I have, so that, you know, at least I have my hand. You know, what is it? The old saying is that I used to cry because I had no shoes until I met the man with no feet. You know, how powerful is that? And so, you know, being able to work around these, wounded warriors or adaptive athletes, it's incredibly humbling, incredibly humbling. You know, again, I just continue to say that. It's just how, you know, sometimes I think, oh, I'm old and, you know, I'm older. And, but that, you know, sometimes I catch myself, I can't do this or can't do that. I'm like, no. The whole world is ahead of you. Think positive, look around you, take strength, be grateful for all of the things that are there, and your life can continue to improve. What are we talking about? Talking about improving 1% daily. And that sense of gratitude, that can be the very thing. If in any one day you can do that, you can gain 1%. That's crazy. 1% a week even. You could be, you know, and how it works out mathematically, exponentially, is that you can be a completely new person in 2015. You know, how cool is that? You know, the new version of you in 2015 could kick ass on the version in 2014, especially 2013. I mean, come on. How much growth have we had? We've had an incredible amount of growth. And so, again, Mason and all our other athletes, all our other readers out there, I just want you to, you know, have that sense of gratitude. Always know that things can be tougher, things can be harder, and that we're just so incredibly blessed to be able to wake up every morning, go out, do our workouts, be with our buddies, be with our friends, be at the gym, be outside in a workout. That's so incredible that we can do that. And so I think I've beaten that point up enough, and I think that you guys, the actionable item, the homework is take away from you is look at those around you, give them a hug, tell them you love them, tell them I'm grateful for you. Okay, when you say that, you can't feel a negative thought. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go out. I'm going to do it myself when I go back up to the house. And so yeah, all of you that are listening to this, that are viewing this, looking at my ugly mug, I want you to post a comment down below in YouTube, and I want you to sign up for a newsletter at SealGrinderPT.com and write me, tell me, hey, I'd like to hear this, I'd like to hear that. How does this work? Whatever. If I don't know I probably don't know the answer, but if I don't know the answer, I'm going to try to find out, right? And so I'm on that same journey. I'm on that same journey of growing trying to grow 1% a day, sometimes 1% a week. That's okay. And but anyway, I am Brad McLeod, SillGrinderPT.com, and I am out.